Okay. This is so crazy. I want to talk about the InfoWars thing. Basically, it's very scary what's happening. The InfoWars reporter Jamie White was brutally murdered just a couple days ago, and now apparently there's like a credible, hit or assassination attempt is going to be made, I guess, on Alex. I think that's what Alex just received word on. This is very scary stuff, very serious stuff. It almost seems like, I don't know, something like a George Soros would do. Here is a little clip it snippet from when Alex was on Benny Johnson. Alex Jones calls on Pam Bondi and the Trump DOJ to investigate the brutal murder of lead InfoWars reporter Jamie White. A town of 2 million people, an InfoWars lead reporter gets butchered. We need an investigation. I'm asking the DOJ to investigate. Oh.
Alex, I know you're justifiably upset right now. We pray for you, your staff. We said so last night as soon as we heard this horrible news. If there's anything that we can do to support Jamie or his family, let us know.
I haven't even thought of what to do that, and I'm so from everything so broke. But we're put something together to help, and we're talking to the family about help
something together. We'll share it and we'll donate. Alex, we'll be there for you. So, thank you.
Hey, brother, you're kicking butt. God bless you and your crew and your great viewers and listeners. You can find me on X at Real Alex Jones. We're all in this together. Benny, I really appreciate you.
Godspeed, Alex. All right.
God bless you, and thanks for caring about. Because this is a journalist that's been killed. It should be investigated.
Wow.
I think Pam Bondi should look into it. The Austin Police Department admitted they're totally overwhelmed. They said they can't really respond to most crime scenes at the whole other area.
Wow.
I'm asking the Trump administration, this is important. This is a journalist that's been killed. It needs to be investigated. It could have been a hit. There's a good chance it could have been. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm thinking about it. A lot of smart people are calling me saying, Alex, this. 8 people have been killed the last 2 months here in the first of the year. Okay. What's the chances in a town of over 2 million people that an InfoWars lead reporter gets butchered? So we need to investigate this. I'm asking the Justice Department to investigate.
Horrible. I was like a young guy with a family. I get it, but there's so many unsolved murders. Yeah, for real. I mean, like my dad's murder is an unsolved murder. It's probably going cold. They probably don't care anymore. So I get the frustration. Let me pull this other thing up here. And then Chase Geiser, another InfoWars host, was swatted twice in 12 hours. So to me, this looks very much on purpose. These are targeted attacks. Let's hear what Chase has to say about this. We must end the practice of allowing CIA, Soros, and USAID to use our tax dollars to fund our citizens being placed on enemies of the state lists. Right, which is what happened to InfoWars for other countries like they did for Ukraine. Here's a short breakdown of what happened when I was swatted today.
There's been a lot of talk about this Ukrainian enemies of the state list. Jamie was on it. Alex, you're on it. I'm also on it. I reposted earlier today that I was on it. And I think a lot of the Ukrainian supporters, I don't know if it's from Ukraine or not, it could just be leftists here in the United States, are using that list to weaponize swatting.
Wow.
All right, Chase Geiser had to leave about an hour and a half ago, and I'm normally back and forth in his office, but I was so busy I didn't go in there. And he just came running in here. The left just attempted murder of him and his family today.
Oh, God.
That's what the swatting is. They've done it to MTG like 15 times or something. They've done it to me a bunch. But the cops know, and so they don't even respond anymore.
Wow.
The first 3 times they came and saw me, later they're like, yeah, they're still doing it. Saw it, the gas station like 3 years ago, then again a year ago. They'll see me getting gas in the neighborhood. That's where they get gas, the same place. And I live right on the edge of the city, so it's Travis County. And so we've been swatted more than 10 times.
Jeez. I've only been swatted twice.
But the police, again, know who I am. They don't know Chase, but I guess they're fans when he got there. Chase, you just got swatted today.
Yeah. So what happened was I got a phone call about an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours ago. I kind of lost track of time. It's been a whirlwind from a deputy. And is this Chase Geiser? And I said, yes. And as soon as he said he was a police officer, I thought that he was going to ask me some questions about Jamie. 'Cause we did the Sunday night show.
Because our main writer just got murdered.
Yeah, our main writer just got murdered. And
I was on the Ukrainian hit list.
And I had texted Jamie a lot on Sundays, as I usually do, about headlines and stuff like that. So I thought, maybe they're just asking questions about what I knew about what he was doing on Sunday. And they're like, no, we're outside your house with your neighbor. And we've been trying to get in because there was a call that somebody broke into your house and killed your dog and that you and your family were hiding in your basement. Now in Texas, we don't have basements. So that was the first red flag.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I did was make sure that my wife and kids weren't home. They actually weren't. They were getting groceries. And I just rushed back home, talked to the cops. There were, I don't know, half a dozen cop cars outside of my house. And they said that they have been receiving a litany of SWAT requests for my property via 311 via text. People are refusing to answer the phone or speak. They say that they can only text. And they said that as I was talking to the police in my own driveway 15 or 20 minutes after the initial call, they said that they were still getting 311 messages about my house. So there was a campaign swatting my property today, Alex.
And they're imagine what they're doing to Musk and to Joe Rogan. And if they think, because I learned about this a few weeks ago, and
yeah, he tweeted, we were both on the same Ukraine enemies of the state list. Seems unrelated to what happened to Jamie, but related to the fact that we've been reporting about being on the list. Yeah, that can't be a coincidence.
Musk was here in town. I'll leave it at that. Imagine what they're doing to them.
Yes.
So this is the terrorism campaign, as I told you, ratcheting up.
Absolutely.
And to show what a small world it is now, this touches me, because I always care about you as well. My middle daughter does babysitting for you. She's over there.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
Where my kids are. This is the evil of these people. And they're a bunch of cowardly scum, Chase. Let me guess, this isn't going to intimidate you.
No. I mean,
is it going to make you fight harder?
Absolutely, 100%. And what I think it's related to specifically is there's been a lot of talk about this Ukrainian enemies of the state list. Jamie was on it. Alex, you're on it. I'm also on it. I reposted earlier today that I was on it. And I think a lot of the Ukrainian supporters, I don't know if it's from Ukraine or not, it could just be leftists here in the United States, are using that list to weaponize swatting.
Of course they are.
Yeah. So that seems logical.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened in my house today. Sorry, I had to leave the office, Alex.
And then imagine the police have already had their funding massively cut. They've got all this real stuff to deal with. And then they're constantly running around.
Yes, I was swatted, not to make it about me, but here I go, making it about me. I was swatted similarly, like twice in 12 hours. It was a couple years ago. It was before I got married. I think it was before we did our second content house in Orlando. But it happened to be here in New York. It was one evening, and then the next morning, they ended up finding the kid. It was like a 14-year-old kid who did it, and he was like upset that I don't know. I had a guest on that he didn't like, so he of course dealt with that in the form of swatting me twice. But I don't know. I don't know if they put him in whatever they do to 14-year-olds. I mean, I don't think you can arrest him. They reprimanded him somehow, but yeah, it's scary stuff. But now I know all of my neighborhood cops. Who the hell's calling me? Stop it. I don't like buzzing. Okay.
To the swatting events.
Absolutely. And I will say that the police were big InfoWars fans, big fans of the Hodge twins specifically, they said. And as soon as I walked up, they're like, oh, this makes sense. They just like recognize us because a lot of the guys in blue, they still
asked you to walk through so they could just guarantee.
No, I didn't. They didn't ask to go in my house, and I didn't offer.
Well, they even knew it was pure bull. Yeah. Because the first two times they said, "Look, we know you're," because I was never there, and they said I was killing my wife the first two times.
Wow.
And then she wasn't even there, like playing tennis or something.
Horrible.
Middle of the day, I got to rush home. They're like, "Okay, well, we need to still go look."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And they go around. They go, yeah. And of course, we don't really have basements in Texas either. You don't have a basement in your house,
right? But that, and the reason they call and they say that someone,
I think it sounds like Ukrainians. Look, they're doing it themselves. It's NATO, buddy.
Yeah, 100%. And I've been, very adamantly opposed to this war ever since the beginning, as of you, Alex. And
I showed all Jamie's articles they put on the hit list. It was all true. It's all come out to be true.
100%. They gave $63 billion to Ukraine on Hitler's birthday last year, while our Congress waved Ukrainian flags. April 20th. Yeah, I mean, come on.
And they give a standing ovation to a real Nazi in Canadian Parliament.
I know.
How do people follow you on X?
Just follow me at Real Chase Geiser, but the most important thing you can do is follow at Real Alex Jones and go to the AlexJonesStore.com.
What a nice guy. Nobody deserves to get swatted. It's scary stuff. Let's see, what else is he saying? Oh, he's got footage of what happened a little bit. The cops outside his home. Let's pull it up. Here's a video of my neighbor who was a close friend telling the cops, I work for InfoWars after I was swatted today. You can hear the cop respond, nice. Okay, let's see if we can hear that.
He's actually
Wow, that's a good neighbor. Like a good neighbor. Travis County Sheriff deserves major kudos for having awesome deputies. Yeah, they were cool. The cops were fans. Yeah, of course. Real people are actually like fans of InfoWars, watch InfoWars. They should make a swatting a federal crime with enormously high punishment because basically every tactic a little Antifa punk would use, they should take each one of those tactics and make it soul-crushingly harsh penalty. Yeah, I agree. It's a clear attack on free speech and journalism. Your neighbor should be ashamed of themselves for putting you in harm's way like that. What? No, I think the cops were fans. Oh, this is so sad. And poor Jamie White shot on Sunday night. Wow. And they have a Give, Send, Go for Jamie White's family. Let's see. Wow, they've already raised $47,000 for Jamie White's family. Yeah, swatting is a potential attempted murder if somebody gets shot. Yeah, if you're not there to answer the doors for the cops right away, like they could barge in with their guns. They could. Dogs have gotten shot, during swattings. I fully believe this is a Ukraine and NATO and WEF, Rothschild, Soros, Bill Gates. All of them together. Yeah, they take turns. Wow. Reese, it was a 14-year-old who swatted me. Wow. Yeah, the cops are going to be definitely fans of this. This is disgusting what's happening to you. I'm so sorry. Thank you guys for all you do for our nation and being loyal patriots. We just have to continue to lean on and pray to Christ and let him lead us. Is that a robin tweeting in the background? We all love nature, and sometimes it might just be possible. These animals are angels, as per the book of Hebrews. I'm just saying. Oh. Do you think Alex Jones CIA handles all the friends and alphabet places that are creating this just for the traffic? No. They have better things to do than create drama. Okay, let's play Okay, there's a little bit of video from the discussing the InfoWars murder, this is just so horrible. Just unbelievable that all these guys are being attacked. Alex Jones tweeted 2 days ago, we're deeply saddened to inform you that InfoWars reporter Jamie White was brutally murdered around midnight Sunday night, due in part to the policies of the Soros Austin, Texas DA Jose Garza. We pledge that Jamie's tragic death will not be in vain, and those responsible for the senseless violence will be brought to justice. Jamie's important work will be carried on through InfoWars, our readers, and our cherished listeners.
I'm Sally Hernandez. Police on the scene in East Austin at Douglas Street and Old Torf Street. A 911 call came in just before midnight last night. Bear Tryon has been there for us within the last few hours to figure out exactly what police are saying from that investigation. Good morning.
Police really releasing few details about what happened overnight, but this is what we do know right now. Police say they actually found the victim here in the parking lot of this apartment complex. EMS ended up taking that man to the hospital where he later died. Right now, police will not say exactly if he was shot or stabbed, only saying that he had obvious trauma. Homicide detectives still on scene, as I mentioned this morning, collecting evidence. We've seen also a lot of activity in a second floor apartment where they've been taking evidence bags out. Right now, police say they do not have any information about a suspect, and they're asking if you know something about that to contact them. You can also remain anonymous using Crime Stoppers.
The afternoon of Monday, March 10th, 2025, and I come to the InfoWars family of viewers and listeners into the world with some really horrible news. There are a lot of really cool people that have worked at InfoWars over the years, and one of the most amazing people was Jamie White. You know him as a great reporter and researcher. He was up here last night working late during the Sunday show and after it. And we even have his last post on X where he responded to Elon Musk. Jamie was murdered last night outside of his home, just a few miles away from our studios. And we are the folks here breaking that news first because his family has been notified. And his good personal friends here that were very close to Jamie have talked to his folks and family. We sent some people over this morning when he didn't answer the phone because he's always here early, loves to work, loves to fight tyranny, loves to promote freedom. And when they got to the apartment complex, there was yellow tape everywhere, and blood all over the parking lot. And we went and talked to the manager. They didn't know anything. It's like everybody else we see in the left. They just very laissez-faire. But our crew member saw a police officer and went and talked to them, and they made a phone call, and she had the details when she talked to him and knew Jamie. The police officer said yes, he died at the hospital. Very soon after they got him there. The police responded within 2 minutes, and they had him at the hospital where he was pronounced dead within 18 minutes. Just want to say the police did a great job in the response time, despite, I'm going to talk about in a moment, who are responsible for this. And who is responsible for this. And who are accomplices to Jamie and so many others' murder, and so many others that have been raped and mugged. Heard me on air talk about how the crime is very, very bad here in Austin. Any leftist city is, and just exploded the last 4 years. But let me just tell you what happened to Jamie.
He's really holding it in.
What we know so far, his last post on X was 16 hours ago. Elon Musk was talking about leftists saying that if they see cyber trucks, they're going to attack them and physically attack them and put a rock through their windshield. That's now actually happening, and they're burning down the Tesla dealerships and shooting them up. And they're celebrating on corporate news.
So ridiculous.
Elon responded and said, yeah, why are liberals so violent? Legacy media propaganda is a major part of the problem. I'm not saying leftists killed Jamie, but the point is there's a lot of push for violence. Jamie White reposted Elon Musk's comment in the story, and that's the last thing we know that he ever probably did in his journalistic career.
So sad.
There's Jamie's X account. I've sworn upon the altar of God, eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Original gangster, Thomas Jefferson. And I mean, I'll just say it. Jamie was our best writer and reporter. They're all great, but they all said he was the best. I mean, there's others that are almost as good, but not as good as Jamie. And he wrote 6-7 articles yesterday, posted all this news, did all this great research, gave us information for the show, assisted us in what we were doing. And we came in this morning, the crew looked really upset, and they said Jamie didn't come in. And so we sent one of the crew down there. And doesn't look good. And then they didn't even want to tell me yet that the cops had said, no, it was Jamie White. We were the first to learn. We waited until the afternoon until the family's been told.
Damn.
You saw a little clip from the newscast about this in the early morning hours, and it's just become so routine. And then when somebody like Daniel Penny defends a group of people on a train, these leftist DAs
That's the guy in
throw
New
them in
York.
prison. We'll get to that in a moment. We have one even worse than Alvin Bragg here in Austin, if you can believe that. Recognized as probably the worst in the country, an actual communist. They love the chaos. It's their Cloward and Piven. We'll get to that in a moment. Because Jamie would want us to talk about this. And I'm going to talk to the family again a little bit later and see if we can help out, hopefully, with any of the expenses and maybe do a give, send, go or something. Austin Police Department officers responded to a high priority emergency call at approximately 11:57 p.m. Sunday night. The call was shoot, stab, hot shot, which refers to a high priority potential life-threatening call involving possibility of an active shooter or stabbings.
What did it say? It's called shoot, stab. Huh. Interesting.
Active shooter or stabbings. Officers arrived about 2 minutes later and found a male victim, obvious signs of trauma, according to APD public information officer.
Why don't they want to say if it was a stabbing or a gunshot?
Leah Ratliff. Officers attempted life-saving measures before the victim was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead at approximately 12:19 a.m. Monday.
So where was his wife and kid at this time? If it happened overnight, God, were they still sleeping?
Morning. Homicide detectives are actively investigating the incident, which marks Austin's 8th homicide of the year. Authorities have not released information about potential suspects or specific nature of the victim's injuries. This is pretty early on in the investigation, and the homicide unit will be releasing more information as they're able, Ratliff said during a media briefing. Well, we've talked to police off record. We know more. I'm going to reveal that right now. Multiple police officers we talked to, detectives, said off record that we said we're really sick of this, we're tired of this, and they said we are too. We have had in the last few years our funding for crime scene people and responders cut back massively. They made the biggest cuts in areas that deal with violent crime, as we know from the news, but this was them telling us, and that they will bust really hardened people with huge rap sheets committing serious crimes, robberies, armed robberies, and that the Austin DA, who, despite all the pressure and everything, is very proud of himself. Soros put him in on record, financed his run, does nothing. In fact, they just intensify it to the point the governors had to put the state police in to Austin just to try to deal with it. And then the state police really don't know anything but writing tickets, so they just write tickets. And I've been really talking about that being a very, very sad thing. But everybody's homes and cars are being broken into. I was talking to Rob Dew, who got home Saturday night at about 11:30. I said, you're lucky you live out in the country, in a nice area. He said, actually, we pulled up. There was a truck parked at the end of the street with its lights on. He said to his wife, Trish, they're probably going to break into cars. And they did break into cars that night.
Wow.
They learned from the neighbors. They parked their car in the garage. So this is what's going on in this country. And almost everyone I know has had family that have died or been brain damaged from fentanyl. I mean, this is all the open border. This is all releasing the hardened criminals. And, to read it in the news and have it happen to your friends and things is really just the tip of the iceberg when you start experiencing the left
could be gang crime,
persecuting people that actually protect their fellow humans. And when you see the Soros DAs in control of over 800 jurisdictions protecting serious narcotics gangs and human trafficking gangs, and when you see different feds in ICE calling and warning some of those violent gangs in the world that there's ICE raids coming, Pam Bondi and others reporting that they are preparing to indict some of these people. But there's so many communist traitors in the government that they're having to do polygraphs now to find out who's doing it. This is a crisis. And again, defunding the police, all of this is meant to destabilize and collapse society, Cloward and Piven.
Yep.
So here's one of the headlines about Jamie's murder. Austin police investigating Southeast Austin homicide. Austin City Council cuts police department budget by 1/3, mainly through reorganizing some duties out from law enforcement oversight. So they didn't just cut the police by 1/3, they turned them into social workers, the others.
See how that's working out.
Austin mayor caught lying about police defunding after it happened and a bunch of murders happened. He said they didn't do it when they did. I mean, he did press conferences bragging. Inside a district attorney's campaign tort
yeah,
reform,
I mean, this certainly paints
Austin
a
police-
larger picture of just an overall increase in crime. But they are on the Ukraine terrorist list, so it could be targeted as well.
Department. He just wants people to sue the department when they actually defend people. He goes after police, throws the book at him, or when a veteran driving a lift gets armed, has somebody point a gun at him, he shoots and kills him. They throw him in prison, had to be pardoned. But this is Jose Garza, who literally in Zoom meetings calls other city employees comrades. So just look at this guy. He's doing exactly what he was put in by Soros to do. And I lay all of this squarely at the feet of these DAs and of the Soros crime syndicate and of the Democratic Party. They are the ones that administratively cut the police, prosecute the police.
Yep.
And
Yes.
even cases that are
they want us
100%
to call each
clear
other.
to be lawful, legal activities. And then you wonder why we can't get enough police and there's giant shortages and you wonder why the quality goes down. But despite that, despite Austin being a war zone at night in many areas, the police were there in 2 minutes. They got him to the hospital in just 15, 20, and then he was pronounced dead there. So that's service. But you can't do your job when you don't have enough people. And as President Trump pointed out, and as Tom Homan pointed out and others, they gutted the Border Patrol, ICE, all of it. I don't know if any illegal did this, but you have so many illegals committing crimes that takes away the resources. And you've got the other gangbangers that know that a very small percentage of murders are now even being solved.
Wow.
Now, the police did tell us that they have some suspects, and I'm going to leave it at that. They didn't want to tell us whether it was a stabbing or a shooting. I can just tell you that from the amount of blood I heard, it was serious.
Damn.
They were there scrubbing his blood off the ground when our folks got there. And if any listeners ask us why we didn't get any video of it, we're not going to just use at that point. It's too emotional.
Why would you do that?
The InfoWars crew is really torn up right now. And most of the reporters didn't even ask, but we sent them home. But I appreciate the crew that stayed here so we can get this information out. My condolences go to the family. Your son was and is an amazing person. And we're so proud of the work that Jamie did. And we are so proud of the work he did continuing on as we
I wonder if
try
I
to
met
stabilize
him.
the country and cut the crime and stop world war. And we really appreciate your son. We really appreciate your brother. And I don't want to say he'll be missed because he's always going to be with us. He's a good man. And it's just a reminder of us how serious the stakes are and that the individuals that are running our society administratively are engaged in just vicious, vicious policies. I mean, you could say Soros and these DAs defunding the police 4 years ago didn't know what they were doing, but of course they did. And then same thing in Europe. But now that it gets worse and worse and worse, they know exactly what they're doing. And they're trying to make life miserable. They're trying to break our morale and will. But Jamie was such an upbeat guy, so positive, such a beautiful soul, and his soul lives on forever, and we know it's in God's hands. So for myself and the entire InfoWars crew, we'll put Jamie's X account back up. Hopefully we can get the codes to it and give it to his family. I know Elon doesn't let people, it makes sense, continue on an X account when somebody's deceased because it's a personal account, but maybe the family gets involved. We can make a memorial for crime victims and use the fact of his advocacy for crime victims, which was a big thing he did, and exposing just the incredible. I mean, I remember just a few months ago talking to Jamie about an article he'd written about crime exploding under Biden and just him shaking his head, just saying it's terrible. And just yesterday, I was telling my family and everybody needs to start carrying guns. If you don't know how to use a gun, everybody needs to get a gun. And You're not going to be protected in 800 plus cities and jurisdictions the Democrats run. They're monsters. And so to the globalist, and the same thing's happening in Europe and other areas, you murdered Jamie White. You opened the door. You created the climate. You created the conditions on purpose. George Soros, Alexander Soros, you murdered Jamie White. Joe Biden, you murdered Jamie White. Democratic Party, Hakeem Jeffries, Al Green, you murdered Jamie White. And we're not going to forget him. And we're not going to forget last Tuesday during Trump's address to Congress how you wouldn't stand for the little black boy who's been battling cancer.
That was ridiculous.
For 5 years and had 13 brain surgeries. You wouldn't stand for Laken Riley's family when she got kidnapped, tortured, and murdered. You wouldn't stand for her. You sat there like a bunch of demons because that's what you are. And you know exactly what you're doing. You're at war with this country. Ilhan Omar, all of you. You're the ones that support this. Governor Tim Walz, defunding the police. Cities burned down. His wife saying, I love the smell of burning tires. Open the windows up while people are getting killed. These are sick, degenerate, evil people that know what they're doing. And they, aided and abetted, they are accomplices to the murder of a great American and InfoWars longtime veteran reporter, Jamie White. And I know what Jamie would want. I'm going to talk to the family, but we should not just drop this and dust ourselves off and forget about Jamie or all the other victims. It needs to be Jamie White's dad or sister at the State of the Union.
Yeah.
And President Trump needs to point his finger at the Austin scumbag DA and say, you little monster, you are responsible. Jose Garza just as much as the person or people that murdered our reporter. He won't be coming home to his family again. He won't get to live out the rest of his life. Now, cut short a young man because of you communist globalist scum. And I promise this to Jose Garza and the rest of the occupational government we've got here in Austin, Texas. We're going to take our country back peacefully. And you're going to be held responsible, civilly and criminally, if I have anything to do with it.
Wow, he's pissed.
And I'm asking President Trump and Elon Musk to look at this case because it's so important. A journalist, a patriot, murdered, literally murdered by the Soros government and the Democratic Party right here in Austin, Texas. God bless you all, and God bless Jamie White.
Wow. Rest in peace, bud. That's really sad. And I just saw that Jamie was following me on Twitter. Here's another tweet. Maybe I did meet him on one of my trips to InfoWars. Okay, I'm on the Ukrainian enemies list due to my work at InfoWars and with Real Alex Jones on the Ukraine proxy war. The group who compiled this list is tied to the U.S. State Department, USAID, CIA, and George Soros. Wow. Ridiculous. Wow. The violence against conservatives is nothing like America has ever seen. The media is responsible for all the chaos, destruction, and division in our country. Zelensky came here and threatened the president with words that the comfort of being safe because of an ocean would no longer be valid. He told us he was bringing the war here, and so they have. Wow. Oh, here's the Give, Send, Go, if you guys are interested. Assisting Jamie White's family in deep loss. Sister Kelly, Father Douglas. This devastating loss has shaken the White family to its core. We're coming together to ease their financial burden during this heartbreaking time. Your donations will help cover funeral costs, living expenses, other immediate needs. About Jamie's family, focus on healing. Okay, so maybe he wasn't married. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I want to see this list too. Where do you find it? Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.